Rock County Sheriff's Office is looking for a man they describe as dangerous.
At least 15 high-end guns and rifles were stolen from this gun shop.
There are nearly 200 federal, state, and local authorities looking for Joseph Jakubowski.
Revolution.
The stepfather of Joseph Jakubowski told us he is as dangerous as they say he is.
Breaking now, police have arrested Wisconsin fugitive Joseph Jakubowski.
News 3 has been covering the nationwide manhunt since day one. Tonight, he sits down with our own Valina Jones to tell his side of the story.
You got to do extreme things in this world to get them to listen.
Today, the Rock County Sheriff's Office is looking for a man they describe as dangerous. Deputies want to find Joseph Jakubowski in connection to a gun shop burglary and arson. Our Rock County reporter Jenna Middow joins us live from Janesville with the latest details. Jenna.
Deputies say at least 15 high-end guns and rifles were stolen from this gun shop here on Highway 14. Surveillance video shows a man smashing the front door Tuesday night. Deputies say shortly after the burglary, a vehicle fire was reported a short distance away.
The Janesville man is also accused of writing that 160-page manifesto to the president, which detailed his hatred toward government.
Hello, everybody. Susan Simon with Valina Jones. There are some new developments in the ongoing manhunt case in Janesville. News 3 has obtained a video of the suspect that law enforcement is looking for, Joseph Jakubowski, putting a written manifesto into the mail. Our Valina Jones is following all of the updates on this developing story. And Valina, you watched the video. First of all, tell us, how did we obtain it?
Right, well, this video was sent into our newsroom this morning. Throughout the video, you know, it's really apparent that he has a message. And he's talking about that there needs to be a revolution. He also talks about that there needs to be change. And we actually have an example of what he says during that video.
Let's take a look.
All right, to anybody that got this letter, you might want to read it. There it is, you see, it's getting shit. Revolution. It's time for change.
We spoke to Mary Ellen O'Toole from Washington, a former FBI profiler who helped solve major cases, including the capture of Ted Kaczynski. She talked to us specifically about the manifesto document.
With that kind of planning can come behavior that really allows this person to carry something off quite effectively. And what they'll also look for are themes to suggest that this person is an injustice collector.
Inside his squad car,
10-4.
Officer Brian Neighbor is always on high alert.
You know, you're more apt to look in, the cars as you're driving past them to see if, somebody's crouching down in the back.
Searching for any sign of Joseph Jakubowski.
Someone walking down the street. You make sure that's not him.
It is now day 6 of the search, and Jakubowski's family tells News 3 they want him to turn himself in.
The stepfather of Joseph Jakubowski, Don McLean, did not want to be interviewed on camera today, but he told us his family is hoping Jakubowski will abandon his plans. In reality, though, he told me he's concerned because, quote, he is as dangerous as they say he is.
We don't know if he's in Janesville. We don't know if he's in Rock County. He could be in Washington, D.C. We simply don't know.
Local authorities say the FBI, ATF, and Secret Service have sent reinforcement for what is now a national investigation, alerts going across the country yielding more than 420 tips. Jakubowski's stepfather told us he's worried about law enforcement, saying the 32-year-old hated police and raised concerns about the young man buying a helmet and bulletproof vest. Police admit they don't know what a planned violent act may be beyond Jakubowski calling for revolution.
I can tell you that the fact that he speaks of causing a revolution to us suggests that it's a larger and broader plan than something local.
If you have any information, see Jakubowski, or anything suspicious, you're asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Jessica Arp reporting tonight. Jessica, thank you.
And Capitol Police are also doing extra patrols around the state capitol in response to the manhunt. Again, police say Jakubowski was agitated about political issues. At this time, the Capitol Police say they have not received, nor have they been notified of any specific threats.
Our Chris Gothner joins us live with the latest on a possible sighting at a Sun Prairie church. This as we've learned new information tonight about who police think he might be targeting, Chris.
Yeah, well, that sighting happened Thursday here at Bethlehem Lutheran Church in Sun Prairie. Today, the church announcing that tomorrow's services will be canceled in light of all this. And now Rock County deputies are saying tonight, we've just learned this, that churches across the area are being put on high alert.
School districts all across southern Wisconsin are taking measures to keep students safe during this search. Several, like Janesville and Milton, actually canceled classes today.
Breaking now, police have arrested Wisconsin fugitive Joseph Jakubowski. After more than a week on the run, police arrested him around 6 o'clock this morning.
We are on Estes Road, right on the Vernon-Richland County line. Now, when the owner found Joseph Jakubowski, he first told him that he had to leave. He then told him he could stay overnight, but that he would have to be gone in the morning.
I mean, the one thing he said over and over is no one listens to me.
Tonight, the search intensifies for a man declared to be armed and dangerous.
We don't know if he's in Janesville. We don't know if he's in Rock County. He could be in Washington, D.C. We simply don't know.
Revolution. It's time for change.
The stepfather of Joseph Jakubowski told me he is as dangerous as they say he is.
It's really scary to know that your kids potentially could be at danger.
Breaking now, police have arrested Wisconsin fugitive Joseph Jakubowski.
Make no mistake, what could have happened here was a mass shooting.
This is a Good Friday in more than one way.
This is News 3 at 6.
That's an updated mugshot as people across southern Wisconsin are relieved tonight. The national manhunt for a Janesville fugitive is over.
Police arrested 32-year-old Joseph Jakubowski early this morning without incident. He was found at a campsite near Viola along the Vernon County and Richland County line. This area is about an hour southeast of La Crosse, and officers received a tip about this location last night and arrested him around 6 o'clock this morning.
26 agencies were involved in the search for Jakubowski. He was in federal court this afternoon, as shown in this sketch. News 3 has been covering the nationwide manhunt since day one. We have live team coverage now as communities across southern Wisconsin try to get back to life as normal.
We start with Rock County reporter Jenna Middahl with the latest from police. Good evening, Jenna.
Good evening, Eric and Charlotte. Well, officials say they were prepared to keep searching for Jakubowski for days and even weeks, but they're glad the manhunt has finally ended and that no one was hurt. For more than a week, hundreds of law enforcement officials put all their resources into finding one man.
Make no mistake, what could have happened here was a mass shooting. That was our concern.
As more than 700 tips poured in from around the state, it was one tip that officials had been waiting for. That clue allowed at least 60 to 70 law enforcement officials to get into place and take Jakubowski into custody, all without any use of force. Officials say Jakubowski looked disheveled when they found him at a makeshift campsite, and he had a full arsenal of weapons.
There were 4 handguns, 1 long gun, multiple boxes of ammunition, 1 samurai-like sword, a helmet and ballistic vest, containers of flammable liquids, and a copy of his manifesto.
Those weapons show just how bad this situation could have ended, which makes officials so much more grateful.
We could not have asked for this matter to end better. Today is truly a very good Friday for all of us here in Rock County.
Valina Jones joins us now along the Vernon-Richland County line. She talked to those living near that spot where Jakubowski was found. Valina?
Well, that's right. Jakubowski set up a campsite in this wooded hillside behind me. And the only reason why he was found is because the man who owns this property decided to take a ride on his ATV. Jeff Gorn found Jakubowski, who had set up a blue tarp on his property. Gorn told him that he could stay the night but would have to leave in the morning. Jakubowski refused to leave. At that time, Gorn did not know who he was, but after having an hour-long conversation with him, he felt something was wrong and called authorities. Gorn says Jakubowski seemed lost, exhausted, and in need of help.
He actually was personable. He actually was somebody who was willing to offer information. He never one time had talked about anything that he was doing that may be a problem in the future.
Now, neighbors on the other side of the hill said last night when they were made aware of the situation, they locked all their doors and said it was the first night they slept with a shotgun by their bedside and are glad that Jakubowski is now in custody. Now, Gorn is taking very little credit for this, but this could have ended very differently. Gorn actually has his degree in clinical psychology, and he said that Jakubowski told him that he was the only person that would listen to him. Gorn said he never felt threatened during that time. He just wanted to get him the help that he needed.
All right, Valina Jones along the Vernon-Richland County line tonight. Valina, thank you.
On this Good Friday, churchgoers in Janesville are feeling reassured by Jakubowski's arrest. Religious institutions had been targeted in his manifesto, and police dedicated extra patrols at services this week. Pastors in Janesville say many people skipped last Sunday's services out of concern for their safety. Now they say they are thankful for the peaceful end to a week of tension.
My immediate reaction was relief, that, oh, this is behind us and now we can move on. So it's just really a lot of good news. Yeah. It is a Good Friday.
None of the pastors we spoke to in Janesville said they canceled last week's services, but a Sun Prairie church did cancel after a possible sighting of Jakubowski. It turned out that it wasn't him, but the church wanted to play it safe. The manhunt prompted school lockdowns all across southern Wisconsin. With the holiday weekend, many districts have today off and have not revealed security plans for next week.
The groundwork to make this type of peaceful capture happen was years in the making.
Dave DeLosier shows us just why that happened.
It's not something that they just, just get a group of officers together and say, let's go get them.
In a grove of trees was what law enforcement officers from all over the state had been looking for. Once they found Joseph Jakubowski, the plan for his capture would have been extensive and with contingencies for everything.
The threat that this person of this caliber poses to the general public, and that the chance of him potentially escaping is something that you cannot consider. I mean, you have to capture him.
To get someone like Jakubowski to give himself up would take an overwhelming presence of law enforcement and the use of psychology on a man on the run for a week.
The police show of force is a psychological component to the person as well, especially a person who has been on the run, who may be getting tired, and realize that they're not going to be able to escape.
But to preserve officer safety against a potentially heavily armed suspect, law enforcement relied on technology. A drone was used to get eyes on Jakubowski.
The drones can fly right up to the windows and look inside. It gets eyes on the person and the environment without threatening any law enforcement officers there and the subjects.
The last piece to the puzzle is getting the suspect to realize they have one and only one way out.
There's a combination of a show of force, but on the flip side of that, there's also the reassuring words that if the person follows commands and gives themselves up peacefully, nobody is going to get hurt.
Which is exactly how this ended, which is exactly why law enforcement will study all that went right for the next time.
On April 13th, just a couple months into her new job, Amanda Weaver answered this 911 call.
Bergen County Sheriff's Office.
You don't think 2 months in that you're going to get the call of your life.
He had sent a letter out to government people and said that he can no longer go backwards now. I'm just calling you guys to say, is there anything or is there anybody out there that in the area that you guys are looking for?
Joseph Jakubowski lashed out at the judge during his court appearance today. Our Leah Lynchide is here with the latest. Leah?
This was a heated initial appearance for 32-year-old Joseph Jakubowski.
I do not want you to say anything on the record that could implicate
I'm not your slave, man. You can't tell me what to do. As a free individual, you can't tell me.
Mr. Hart?
Tonight, he sits down with our own Valina Jones to tell his side of the story in his first on-camera interview since his arrest.
Freedom. That's really it. Freedom, because I'm looking for happiness. What I felt when I was out there, freedom.
8 months after that freedom came to an end, after a 10-day national manhunt, Joseph Jakubowski is now in chains. He does have one regret. Jakubowski claims he wrote an apology letter to the owner of Armageddon Supplies in Janesville for stealing the guns, saying he needed to defend himself from the government.
I wrote that simply because I did not want to do it. I needed him to understand I didn't want to do it, but I had to. The only way to take your freedom back is to steal it.
As a convicted felon, Jakubowski is not legally allowed to purchase guns. Only 5 out of the 18 firearms have been recovered.
No, I'm not giving them up. I've been asking for freedom or death. I have been. I've wrote that to the judge. I've wrote it to the president. I wrote another letter to Donald Trump, being more personal about things. I wrote him man to man, asking him again for the same thing.
Does that mean you're suicidal then?
No.
Do you have intentions on ending your life?
No. But I'm not going to live with this. I will not live at peace with government. If I can't find peace, why keep me here?
What do you want people to know?
I wasn't trying to hide from anybody. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. But it's messed up. You got to do extreme things in this world to get them to listen.